The palm tree is considered a noble tree and mentioned many times in the Bible. It bears fruit, its leaves were used to make baskets, and they also were used to welcome Jesus into Jerusalem. The trunk was also used in building. The palm tree is a symbol of victory and peace, and in today's lesson, we will learn that it represents fairness. Hi, today's lesson, it comes from the book of Judges, and this is about a brave woman named Deborah. Now, a few things you should know about Deborah. She was chosen by God to lead the Israelites. Now, not a lot of women are mentioned in the Bible, but Deborah was one of them. And she wore many hats. That means she did lots of different things. First, she was a prophet. And we know a prophet is someone who speaks for God, and she did that to guide the people of Israel. Second, she was a judge, kind of like the king of a country might be, because the king would give judgment and he would help people decide things. So Deborah was a judge, and she always wanted to be fair when she did that. Deborah was also a military leader. When she was going to help lead the Israelites into war. Deborah was also a wife. She was married to Lapidoth, and she was also a songwriter. Do you know that? She wrote a song and a battle hymn, and we'll hear about that later. So earlier, you saw a palm tree, and I told you a couple of things about the palm tree. Well, now Deborah, when she was wearing her judge's hat, she would sit under the palm tree because she thought it represented fairness. She would listen to people's problems and she would solve them fairly. Now, the Israelites, they were treated very, very badly. And finally, Deborah said, enough is enough. She said, we're not going to take this anymore. So she sent for this guy named Barak, and she tells him to take 10,000 of his men and go fight the leader of the Canaanite army. Now, the leader of the Canaanite army is this guy named Sisera. And Sisera is this really big, bad dude. And so Barak as well, he's a little bit afraid of Sisera. And so he tells Deborah, he says, I'll only go if you go with me. So Deborah thinks about it and she says, well, okay, I'll go with you. But because you're asking me to go, the honor of winning this war is going to go to a woman. So as Barak leads his men, they go with God as their leader. And they make Sisera turn around and run. So they win the war. So Barak and his men were victorious because of Deborah and her faith in God. And when they finished, they worshiped God in song with a victory hymn that Deborah wrote. So this is what I want you to learn from today's lesson. Deborah doesn't question God's voice or wonder what other people will say. Whether people follow her or not is not her concern. She doesn't care. But her only concern is doing what the Lord has called her to do and to not let anything get in the way. So remember, you can do or be anything as long as you do it in the name of the Lord. And one other thing I'd like to do is I'd like to dedicate this lesson to our own Deborah Bobo. She is the one who helped put all these videos together, and she's taught me a lot. So thank you very much. Hi, we're getting ready to sing for you a song called I'm in God's Army. And I wanted to go over a few of the words because there's some new ones. It starts off saying, I may never march in the infantry, and the infantry are a group of soldiers. Then it says, ride in the cavalry. Now the cavalry are soldiers that are on horses. Then it says, shoot the artillery. Artilleries are the big guns. And then it says, I may never zoom over the enemy. Well, then you're going to pretend that you're an airplane. So listen to the song and see if you can do the motions with us. Ready? You do that? All right, we're going to start marching, all right? I may never march in the infantry, ride in the cavalry, shoot the artillery. I may never zoom o'er the enemy, but I'm in the Lord's army. I'm in the Lord's army. I'm in the Lord's army. I may never march in the infantry, ride in the cavalry, shoot the artillery. I may never zoom o'er the enemy, but I'm in the Lord's army. Yay! Hi. So when you heard the story about Deborah, you learned that she was a person who wore many hats. This is one of the hats I made, and I like to wear it too because I like music. So what you're going to need for today's craft are 2 sheets of different colored construction paper, a stapler or some tape and some scissors, some markers or crayons, and a glue stick. First, you're going to take one of your sheets of paper and fold it in half lengthwise. And then when you have that crease, you're going to cut that down the middle. I've already done that. And my 2 sheets, I'm going to fold them in half again lengthwise. We're going to put them together, and this is where you either tape it or staple it. There we go. On my second sheet of paper, I've already cut out a shape that I want to use. I have cut out a pentagon. A pentagon is the shape of the home plate in a baseball, on a baseball diamond. So this is the shape I want to use. And I take one of my markers and I color around the corners of it, around the lines, and I'm going to draw a picture of a baseball in the middle. So here's my baseball. The reason I chose this is many of my kids have played baseball, and so I like watching them play. So then you're going to take your glue stick and you're going to run it just around the bottom of your shape. You can make a triangle, you can make a rectangle if you like, or you could even do a circle. Now I'm going to take this and put it in the center of one of my bands. Here you go. See how it sticks up over that? And that's the inside. So then, I'm going to change hats now. You can measure it around your head. I know this will fit me. And this can be one of the hats I wear as a mom who goes to watch her son play baseball. Now, if you're not into baseball, maybe you might like soccer. You could wear a soccer hat. Or maybe you like to read books, or maybe you're even a very good storyteller. So these are my hats. Now it's your turn to go make your hat and tell the world about you, who you are,